if the arbitral ruling gave the international community the legal footing that they want to be more assertive and more confident to enter the arena, what about the other footing in the Philippines? Are we getting enough of a clear and stable enough policy messaging from Malacanang na ito, pwede nyo ring tungtungan to. Ito na rin ang position namin from now on. Is that clear and stable enough at this point?
Well, okay. Let's go first in what happened when the ruling came out. Now, after, of course, our president visited Beijing, it was announced
After the ruling.
after the ruling, no? When he went to Beijing in October, when he was given 24 billion dollars promise by Xi Jinping. He said, "I will set the ruling aside," and it was consistent. The first country that actually used the ruling the following year was Malaysia. When Malaysia declared its continental shelf, Malaysia said, we don't have any dispute with China because the 9-dash line has been been considered as, beyond international law. So they used the ruling. Followed by Indonesia. When Indonesia declared its, exclusive economic zone north of the Natuna Island, the 9-dash line has been considered illegitimate under international law. So we are declaring. So this is the irony about it. Other countries had been using the ruling not because they're law-abiding, but simply because it serves their interests. The U.S., of course, conducts freedom of navigation operation. The irony here is the United States, is not even a member of UNCLOS. But it's in the interest of the United States Navy to have access to the open seas, to minimize the nature of what they call expansive claims by coastal states. So this is where you have the convergence. No, we acknowledged the ruling only last year. And it was, of course, Secretary Locsin on the day itself. It was Sunday. Sunday, 4 a.m. in the morning, Secretary Locsin came out with this announcement. The following day, Monday, it was, of course, Secretary Pompeo. And, of course, in the United Nations General Assembly, you have a number of countries submitting their diplomatic communications, basically reaffirming the 2016 ruling. So even Brunei. So it is not anymore quoting the head of the international department or the foreign policy department of the Communist Party, Yang Jiechi. It's not anymore a scrap of paper.
Okay.
It's more than a scrap of paper.
Oh, yeah, but wala nang atrasan doon, even if, both on the level of, wala na bang atrasan dito ang, let's say, the President Duterte, or for that matter, in the context of kahit umatras or kahit manlamya ulit, the international footing is already there, and the international community feels confident enough to move on their own, even without Malacanang.
That's a problem. I'll just add something to Rena. It's a problem is we see strong statements from Secretary Lorenzana, Secretary Locsin. But at the end of the day, who is the chief architect? Is that the word, Rene? Chief architect. That's the president. Who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces? It's our president. He seems to be quiet on these things.
Hindi naman siya umaatras eh. Nawawala lang. Right?
May proof of life.
What's the worst that can happen?
Well, it should be there.
Is that the worst that can happen?
Yeah, it should be there to basically announce.
So you're not yet seeing a repivot on the part of Malacanang, but can you say that, the government is actually repivoting, except that Malacanang is not being explicit about it? Can we read it this way?
I don't see it that way. I see the leadership of Secretary Lorenzana. Maybe it was an independent stand on his part, and suddenly maybe Malacanang is hiding behind it, but still you would like your own government. As this becomes more internationalized, I think really the challenge to government, beyond raising it through diplomatic protests, it's very bilateral. You keep on engaging China. And if you are playing with a bigger nation, why do it bilaterally? So bring it parang multilateral. That's why some views there are file it in the United Nations, make it a discussion, make it an more international issue. Professor Rene or Dr. Rene raised the issue of alliances. And something that I'd like to add to what Dr. Rene mentioned earlier is the reality that what makes it different from Scarborough Shoal, that's why you would see some of our allies, friends, strategic partners to be more aggressively maybe supportive of us, is that of the 2016 arbitral ruling. Before the 2016 ruling, China and the rest of the world could say, oh, this is disputed. But after that ruling, hindi na siya disputed. We might not be in possession. So that's why since then, I've always seen how our friends from US, from other countries, Australia, Japan, maybe even South Korea, or even India, given the Quad, seems to view things differently. And just to add also, I think what we need to do, we just have 3 ships maybe, but something that a lot of people don't realize, then Deputy Secretary Anthony Blinken was an architect of an idea that should have been implemented in 2016 before Obama stepped down. It's called a joint patrol with the Philippine Navy. That means our own Navy don't patrol the seas on their own. Because, of course, we always say they're small. But if they will patrol with a bigger Navy,